Seth and I have been best friends for the past 8 years, and while we have some interests and hobbies that overlap, for the most part, we enjoy very different things. We're not pros, we're just fanboys.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Lonely Fanboys podcast. We had an intro planned for you this week, but we ended up talking about our main topic for so long that we decided to just keep this whole episode all about that main topic. We're going to jump you in right as that discussion's getting started. We hope you enjoy it.
Well, Seth, we've done it. We hit episode 5. What a better way to kick off our new podcast than with a list.
A list? Joe, I don't even make lists when I go to the grocery store. What are we doing making a list?
Well, as many longtime listeners know, my wife Anna and I, during this wonderful, horrible quarantine... My wife. We went through the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe movies, and as we were watching them, we started putting together a list of the worst movie to the best movie. Yeah. And now I can say, without a doubt, that I have the definitive, unquestionable, unarguable, perfect list of the worst to best movies of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Joe, I hate to burst your bubble, but I love to burst your bubble, because I can guarantee you that is not true. Because I know for a fact that in my possession, I have the unarguable, indefensible, unscrutable, whatever the words you said, list of the Marvel movies worst to best.
Well, I think we should go one by one down this list. Of this list, down, whatever. And as we go, we will see where our opinions cross paths. Now, I have to make one rule.
Oh, okay.
Seth?
Yeah?
You and I can argue for hours.
Yes.
We need to keep this podcast on a proper schedule.
You got it.
So, we are each allowed to argue 5 times.
Oh, man.
Okay?
Oh, man.
So,
okay.
So you know, we can argue about just 5 of our picks, where we place them on the timeline.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
We can't go that into it.
Okay.
I will say this. Okay?
Yeah?
I will say this. You can have 3 more, but each one you have to take a shot for.
Okay.
Okay?
Now that I'm into.
Okay.
Great. Okay. So, would you like to begin, or shall I?
Well, since my list is the correct list, I would like to go first.
Okay. Joe, what is there are 23 movies on your list, correct?
There are 23 movies on my list. We watched all 22 movies. Don't worry about it. But starting off, the worst movie of the Marvel Cinematic Universe is
23rd place.
Yep. Ant-Man and the Wasp.
You know, I'm not gonna argue that one.
Okay.
Actually, we can talk about it a little bit if you want, but I don't think we need to.
No, I'm just. Oh, okay.
I'm gonna say in my 23rd place, I have The Incredible Hulk from 2008.
That's fair. Yep. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say in 22nd place, I have Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Okay. So in 22nd place, I have The Incredible Hulk. In 23rd place, I have Ant-Man and the Wasp. So we just flippy-floppied. Yep. And a very good defense for you is The Incredible Hulk was the only movie that we skipped. Just because it wasn't on any streaming platforms, and I remembered it being pretty bad, so it wasn't worth paying for to watch again.
Oh, I pirated it, and then I watched 45 minutes of it.
That's illegal.
It's fine. It's not. I don't think anybody wants to collect royalties on that movie anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, bad movie.
Yeah. Ant-Man and Wasp. Can I talk about that just for a second?
2 seconds. You get 2 seconds because we agree.
Okay. Well, I'm not. It's the worst movie. I got to talk about it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's fair.
Okay. It sucked.
It sucked really bad.
It sucked so bad.
I watched it today before we recorded this podcast because
good.
I hadn't seen it.
So it's super fresh.
It's very fresh for me, yeah.
Okay, there is no conflict whatsoever. No. They make up a conflict, and then literally there's a line. Okay, so this one makes me so mad. Okay, so the villain is this girl who got superpowers because it's kind of Pym's fault, kind of.
Yeah. Well, only like he fired a guy, and then that guy kind of went crazy, and that guy is her dad, and then in a laboratory blew up, and then now she can she's quantum phasing, but she can't control it. It's like this terrible disease that's afflicting her, and she's going to die because of it.
And so she goes by the name Ghost, and they kind of tried to treat her. Yeah, they kind of tried to make her like another Winter Soldier. Where she has these superpowers and blah, blah. But anyways, so her whole shtick is that she's trying to cure herself of this disease and believes that Scott and Hank, who are trying to go and save Hank's wife.
Yep.
Ghost believes that she can suck the energy out of the wife.
Yep.
and then become normal again.
Which she's actually not wrong about.
But literally, there is a line where I can't remember who says it, but someone literally just says, "Hey, what if you just let Hank try to figure this out? He's a genius. He can probably do this." And she's like, "No, I can't let this happen." And then literally at the end, they just fix it for her.
Yeah.
There's no conflict.
The wife just touches her brain, and then she's fine.
Yeah.
It's over.
And then, okay, my second biggest complaint is
we're running short on time here.
Okay, this is the last bit.
Okay.
And it kind of carries over into the other movies, so it's okay. I just don't like Evangeline Lilly. I haven't really liked anything that she's been in.
Hot take.
I just don't think she's that good.
Wow.
But specifically just because all of the scenes in the first Ant-Man, a movie that I really love, the only scenes I don't like are the scenes with her and Hank, and Michael Douglas is doing nothing wrong. It is just her hamming it up these scenes. And my biggest complaint in the first movie, Ant-Man, is just the part where Michael Douglas goes, my wife didn't really die in a car accident. She actually went subatomic. And it just deflates so much tension in that one line. It's just that is the lamest thing you could call it. I know what they're talking about. Anyways.
Yeah.
So that one scene is the entire Ant-Man and Wasp movie.
Yeah.
It's just them going this is kind of science and dramatic. Okay.
Just looking at the time that it came out too, as we were all in this Infinity War Endgame hype. Yep. Ant-Man as a franchise is so disconnected from the broader MCU, which is, it would be fine if they leaned into it, but they keep trying to shoehorn him in to play he plays a big role in Endgame, and that's cool and all. I love Ant-Man. Right. Paul Rudd's great.
Yes. I love Ant-Man. For me, he's kind of like a cyborg character where when he's in the Teen Titans or the Justice League, I totally love it. If Ant-Man's in the Avengers, great. Fantastic. Awesome. Such a great supplemental character to add some humor to a scene, make it funnier. It's great. But as soon as you put him by himself, it has to be really well done. It has to be written by Edgar Wright, but then he gets fired for some stupid reason. Otherwise, it just doesn't work.
Yeah. No, okay. I am uninterested in Ant-Man's backstory, and I always have been.
Yes. Okay. I will move on.
Great. Move on. Okay. What's 21st place on your list here, Joe?
Okay, Seth.
Yeah.
21st.
Yep.
Is Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel. Okay, we're fighting. We're throwing hands.
Okay.
You misogynist.
Damn it.
I think you had to know that was coming.
I knew that was coming.
You take a movie starring a woman, starring Brie Larson, Queen of My Heart, and you put her in the same category as Ant-Man and the Wasp and the Incredible Hulk?
I do. I really do.
Just to clarify, you think Thor 2 The Dark World is better than Captain Marvel?
I do.
You think Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is better than Captain Marvel?
Whoa!
Guardians sucks shit. Guardians of the Galaxy 2 sucks shit.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's going to be a fight later. Wow.
Tell me, okay, not Jordan, Joe, whatever your name is.
I am so hurt. Wow, I didn't know this was going to be that. Okay, wow. All right. Literally, it just comes down to, this is personal taste, and I know that I'm wrong.
Women.
It's not that. I don't like the Superman archetype. I don't like the overpowered character that there's no stakes. I know she's gonna win. I know she's gonna beat the crap out of the bad guy. And Jude Law, there's no way that Jude Law is gonna lose to like this glowing powerhouse of a woman. I felt no excitement during the whole movie.
Really?
Yes, it was.
I think. Okay, so here's what I like about Captain Marvel. To sort of, I understand it like from the like superhero powers aspect. Captain Marvel is by no means my favorite superhero. If we were doing a ranking of favorite superheroes, I completely I agree with you. I also don't like Superman.
Right.
I don't like superheroes who are overpowered. What I like about the movie Captain Marvel is that we get to see like so much emotional growth in that character. Excuse me, what growth? So first of all, we have a character dealing with like their own like attraction to the same gender.
But the movie doesn't even touch on it. You can't say that's part of the movie if Disney pussyfoots around it and won't even touch it.
Well, right, and they could be doing a much better job of that. We also see sort of, we get to see the burden of what does it mean to be this like all-powerful sort of being. The thing that I don't like about Captain Marvel, and Captain Marvel isn't very high on my list, but it's higher than 21st place.
Sorry, it's just not.
No, and so like I understand like the whole alien subplot I'm like not a fan of either. But we needed to see what happens in Captain Marvel to understand why she hasn't been there, which is that's the best part of taking a hero like that. It's a very challenging story to tell, to say, okay, we have a hero like this who's super overpowered. Why isn't she just there all the time, beating everybody up constantly?
Okay.
And Captain Marvel, I thought, did a very effective job of explaining why Captain Marvel is never on Earth.
Okay. Literally, they wrap that up in the first 5 minutes of Endgame when she says, "There's a whole lot of galaxies dealing with what you're dealing with." Like that one line it just that answers that whole question. I don't have to ask.
Okay, but that would have been a really shitty way to treat one of the only female Avengers that we have. Not to play identity politics, but a little bit to play identity politics.
Black Widow, come on, man.
Yeah, one of the only.
Yeah, fine, but like
that's a fair point.
Yes. Okay. Fine.
Anyway, that's whatever. That's fine. I'm not. Captain Marvel isn't super high on my list, but I think it should be higher than where it is. I have Thor 2: The Dark World in this slot.
Oh, okay.
Thor 2 is not a good movie.
I don't really want to argue. I talked about it already. This doesn't count as an argument. I'm just my little defense for it.
Okay.
It's 2/3 of it is really fun.
Yeah, but 1/3 of it's very bad. You didn't have fun with Captain Marvel?
Not at all.
You didn't like finding out why Nick Fury wears an eye patch and the fact that it's an alien
I rolled
cat?
my eyes so hard.
You don't love Goose? You don't love Goose so much?
I don't even know who. You mean Goose, my chicken on Animal Farm? Animal Crossing?
Goose the cat. The cat's name is Goose, Joe. Did you even watch the movie? You were probably playing Animal Crossing while you watched the movie.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, tell me I'm wrong.
You're not wrong.
Yeah,
I was so bored.
Okay. So,
right.
Moving on. What's at 20?
What was your 21st?
My 21st was Thor: The Dark World.
Oh, yeah. Okay, fine.
My 20th place? Do you want to know that one?
Go for it.
Avengers: Age of Ultron.
Okay, that one I totally get. I have it pretty close to the bottom, but it's not quite there. Okay.
What's in your 20th place?
Iron Man 2.
Iron Man 2?
Yeah.
Explain that one. It's not very high. It's not very high on my list either. It's 2 spots away, but I guess we maybe don't need to talk about it. I also didn't think it was a very good movie. Never mind. I don't want to fight that.
It's just like there's stuff you can get out of the first one and the second and the third one, but there's nothing that really moves the plot except for introducing Black Widow and Nick Fury, which that little element is fun, but not enough to like bring it higher up on a list.
Yeah. Can I say this about Avengers Age of Ultron really quick?
Sure.
I didn't see it in theaters. I didn't see it when it came out. I didn't see it until a couple days ago. I've never had a problem understanding the Avengers franchise, even though I missed the second Avengers movie. That's how little important information I felt like was in Avengers 2.
That's fair, but I mean, that's only okay. I don't want to argue. There are elements that I enjoy from Age of Ultron.
I like that Tony Stark has to, have consequences for his actions.
Yes.
That's always nice to see.
But does he? I don't know. Anyways.
Also, that happens in every Iron Man movie and also every Avengers movie.
Yes. The biggest plus for Age of Ultron for me is the party that they have, and they're all like hanging out, and you see like that very, I don't know, realistic side of all the characters just like at a party hanging out, interacting, and like getting drunk and trying to lift up Mjolnir. Like all that is great. That's like 10 minutes of the movie, but
it's like 4 minutes of the movie.
But yeah, and okay, and then I guess is this my first or my second? I don't even know.
This is your what did you fight me on earlier? No, I think this is your first.
Okay.
Because I fought you on.
I'm not really fighting you on it, but yeah. My biggest defense is the very first time I watched Age of Ultron, I really hated it, mainly because I was tired of like the comedic villain, like Loki and Ultron.
Yeah.
I loved Loki, and I thought Ultron was just like another variation of that. However, this time I noticed that while Ultron is coming to life, he like literally it consumes all of the internet. So I thought it was really funny to think of him as like a child of Tony Stark and the internet, and that's what it creates.
I mean, yeah, it's just also that was done in The Fifth Element 30 years ago.
I haven't seen The Fifth Element.
You should. Oh, you're a fake fan. You're a fake fan.
I guess.
Bruce Willis is great in that movie. It's also pretty.
I just
sexist.
don't really like Luc Besson. I'm not a big fan of him.
You do not have to watch The Fifth Element.
Okay.
What's at what is this? 19. We're at 19. What's at 19 on your list?
Okay, I think this one's also gonna be bad. Thor.
The first one.
The first one.
You motherfucker. You know Thor's my favorite superhero.
I know, but the first movie sucks.
No, it does not.
It does.
No,
Seth.
it does not.
I'm so sorry.
You're so wrong.
It's a bland fish out of water story, and nothing really happens. Jane sucks. Jane sucks, and Jane is the worst.
You just hate women, I think.
I guess.
You hate all the women in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Name one woman you like, Joe.
Pepper Potts, Black Widow, Mantis, Gamora, others.
I think that
Freya.
proves the point.
I love Freya.
I can understand that the writing in Thor is not up to par with later movies.
Yeah.
But I would like to try to take it in its time when it was written, which is when I saw it.
Can't do it.
I don't know. We were like 16 at the time.
Yeah.
And I saw it in theaters, and you just have to understand, for me, this is a deeply emotional connection. This does count as me fighting you on this. This is my second one.
That's fine.
Deeply emotional connection because growing up, Thor was my favorite superhero, and I finally saw him on the big screen. And Chris Hemsworth is an amazing Thor.
He's fantastic.
He is so that movie for me scores highly just for the fact that we get to get introduced to this incredible character.
Yeah.
This my childhood superhero brought to life on a big screen.
That's perfectly fine. I understand why you put him higher. I will say that this watch through, I used to be annoyed by Thor, and this watch through of the whole MCU, I fell in love with Thor in a way I didn't know before. I still just didn't like the first movie.
That's fine. I still think that at the time it was one of the better superhero movies that we had. But that's
I
at
disagree,
the time
but
when
that's okay.
Whatever. Let's move on.
Okay.
And in that spot I had Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Oh, you piece of shit.
The Guardians sucks so bad.
No, it doesn't. Wait, both of them?
No. Oh my god. No, the first one is very high on my list.
The second one.
The second one is
100% wrong.
Is way worse.
You are so wrong.
It's so bad. It's so bad.
Okay, I got to fight you on this.
What is this Kurt Russell villain doing? What is the plot of that movie? Explain the plot of that movie to me. Ego? What is happening in Guardians 2?
Ego wants global domination. He's trying to take his son in to use his power to take over the entire galaxy. That's it.
Cool.
The Guardians of the Galaxy.
Why do I care?
Because you care about Quill. You care about his family. You care
Quill's
about his...
a dick in that movie.
No, what? He's just who is he a dick to?
He's a dick to Gamora like the whole time.
What are you talking about? He's trying to build like the relationship with her, and he's like, there's like the cute scenes where he's like, this is where we have that tension, and I love you, and all that stuff. It's great.
He's just not like, I understand, like, so like the whole there's the whole thing of like, is Ego really his dad or is Yondu his dad? Right.
That's beautiful.
Yondu took him into slavery still. I just like...
Oh, okay, he took him into slavery. He raised... I mean, come on. He raised them. He lived on a pirate ship. He was a first mate.
You know, like, learning who you're... Like, you can learn your family versus, like, you know, your family is blood. That's a great message. The movie has a shitty soundtrack, which... No, the soundtrack sucks. Brandy is the only good song on the soundtrack.
Mr. Blue Sky. I love that song.
No.
Oh.
No, I'm sorry. You're wrong. No, Guardians of the Galaxy 2
inside.
sucks.
You are killing
so
me
bad.
inside.
We should probably move on.
Yeah,
I don't think we're going to agree on this
cry.
one. What do you have at 18 on your list?
Iron Man 3.
Oh, come on.
Are you serious?
Listen, No. This is number 3 for me already. We just talked about how you cried at the, like, dad thing. You like that whole, like, dad relationship. Yeah. Iron Man 3 is just Tony Stark becomes a dad.
I guess. Okay. Here's the whole thing.
Okay.
Iron Man 3 came out. It was the first movie I ever saw 3 times in the theaters. I thought it was fantastic.
It's great.
I thought it was amazing.
It's a Christmas movie.
I rewatched it, not a fan. It was fine.
Why?
It was passable.
But it's so much better than so many other movies on this list.
No, it's not.
Yes, by far.
But
I cried at Iron Man 3. I had never seen it until a couple days ago, and I cried at it. At the end.
When he blows up the Iron Man suits?
Yeah, and he and Pepper are like reunited, and she's
done.
Oh, you just hate emotions too. See, every time I bring up a woman in this conversation, Joe, you just
listen, buddy.
Poop on it.
I love Pepper. I think she's great.
She's great.
She's fantastic. It just didn't do anything for me. It just felt like a very generic action movie. It didn't feel like it had the gravity of some of the other movies on this list.
I guess that's fair, but I don't know, like, if you want to talk, like, I don't know, if you want to talk about gravity, there's some very, just like, objectively very funny movies on this list. Like, some of them are like I don't know.
Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is not funny.
It's so funny. My gosh, you're killing me.
No, I am not a fan of the Drax Mantis style of humor. And so that's probably part of my problem. I just don't think they're funny.
That's fine.
And so I think that movie was just not geared towards me. Sorry, not to go back to
it's okay.
an old argument.
All right.
Iron Man 3 made me cry. That's all. It was beautiful. It's a Christmas movie.
That's fine. I think, see, we're starting to go into like movies that are good, but like it's just like which ones I think are better than each other.
Okay.
And that one was the least good for me.
That's fair. Also, I feel like I need to take a drink every time I insinuate you're a sexist because you're not.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
I need to stop using that as an argument.
It's okay.
At 18 on my list, I had Iron Man 2, which we've already talked about.
Yep, that's fine.
I didn't really fight you on that one.
Yep.
It's down there for a reason.
Yep.
What do you have at 17?
At 17, I had Age of Ultron.
Age of Ultron.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
At 17, and I feel like I'm going to take some heat for this.
And yep.
I have Ant-Man at 17.
That's okay.
Okay, cool.
I'm not going to give you heat. And you'll see why in a second.
Okay. What's at 16?
But I just want to say that like Iron Man 3 and Age of Ultron like kept shifting. That was one where I was like very iffy, but it was just that like that realization that I gave earlier about Tony and the internet that I really enjoyed this time.
And I think maybe the reason I have Iron Man 3 so high is because it's recency bias. And I will also admit I did play Animal Crossing through the first half of Iron Man 3, but the movie was good enough that I put it down for the second half of the movie.
That's fair.
So that's my plug for Iron Man 3.
All right.
So, what do you have at 16?
16, I have Ant-Man.
You have Ant-Man at 16.
Yep.
Cool.
I think it's a very passable movie. It's just okay.
It's one of those movies where like if somebody's gonna put it on, I'm not gonna complain, but I'm not gonna pay attention to it. Like I saw it once and thoroughly enjoyed myself.
Yep.
And that's kind of all you need to know about that one.
This we're kind of like, that movie was the start of people saying like superhero fatigue. At least I think so.
Yeah.
And I was like maybe 3 movies away. I was like, no, this is still super fun, and Paul Rudd is hilarious, and
Paul Rudd is great.
The moments. Sorry, go ahead.
I said this on a previous podcast, but I still think that if Deadpool had not come out, people would have lost their minds over Ant-Man.
Definitely.
Because he's like that kind of thing, but a little like he's PG. Deadpool's PG-13.
Well, Deadpool's R, but
Deadpool is R.
Yeah. The moments that you can tell Edgar Wright had his fingers in are fantastic.
Yeah, they're great.
Yeah. Like the friend Luis, I think his name is, trying to explain how he found out about the sting is fantastic.
Yeah. We should at some point do a ranking of Edgar Wright movies. That'd be kind of fun.
Yes, absolutely.
Love that man.
Okay, so what you got?
All right, at 16 I have Doctor Strange.
Okay, that's fine.
Again, a movie I enjoyed. Again, hadn't seen it until a couple days ago. I think 2 days ago.
Yep.
Enjoyed it. The thing that I took away from Doctor Strange is that Benedict Cumberbatch is a really good actor.
Absolutely.
He's incredible. Like, I know people like shit on him a lot on the internet, and the internet is the internet, and the internet is not an acting school. As somebody who went to acting school, I can show my degree on camera again if we need to. He's incredible.
He is so good.
I can't explain it without getting too much into like technical acting jargon, which nobody wants to hear. Mm-hmm. But just he's amazing. He's a brilliant actor.
I completely agree. I think the big knocks for me for this movie and also Iron Man 3 is they have the most blatant whitewashing.
Yeah, they really do.
Which is just a little rough.
That's fair. That's fair.
And I felt like I just being more familiar with the Iron Man series, that whitewashing hurt me a little bit more. Yeah. Just from personal experience, because oh god, I'm gonna be a bad fan again.
No, it's okay.
Not the Mandarin. The Mandarin.
Yeah.
Like the Mandarin is such a huge character in like the Marvel comics, and so to have him like, one, just deflated in the story, and two, like completely whitewashed, it was a big bummer. I understand people's complaints with the character in Doctor Strange. What is her name?
It's Tilda Swinton's character, the ancient one. Yeah, I understand that issue completely, but I thought, one, making it a woman was really great. Seth, That's fair. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And two, I thought she did a really great job with the role. Yeah.
Tilda Swinton's very talented. It should have gone to an actor who is that talented of the correct race.
Absolutely.
Of that character.
Absolutely.
Still, Doctor Strange at 16.
Yep.
That's where it is for me. What's your 15, Joe?
15 was Thor 2.
Thor 2?
Yeah, I think you're going to give me crap. I think, again, it was like, this was the first time I'd ever watched that movie. It was, other than Ant-Man and Wasp, it was the only one that I'd seen for the first time on this watch through.
Okay.
And so the things that I liked from that movie, I really liked. And so that kind of pushed it ahead of some of the other movies. So yeah, that's the only thing I had to say about Thor 2. What was your next one?
So we're at 15.
I believe so.
My 15 was Captain Marvel. I just had it a little higher than you did.
A little.
Because I love women. Ooh, I said that in such a creepy way.
You have to take a shot and a half for that. Wow.
Yep, I did a very bad job. What was your 14, Joe? Fuck.
Okay, so 14. Now I'm starting to go into the movies that I really liked, the higher up ones. Okay. The next one for me is Captain America: The First Avenger.
Oh, Cap 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I definitely have that higher on my list, but I think the movie that I have at this spot and Captain America: The First Avenger are going to sort of swap places for us.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay. So when the movie came out and I saw it in theaters, I loved it and I thought it was great. And the people I went to go see it with thought it was terrible.
Oh,
and
interesting.
So I like.
Who did you see it with?
I don't want to talk about that.
There are high school friends, I'm sure.
And so I kind of went into no, it was much earlier than that. Anyways, and so I started like questioning my like tastes. Rewatching it, it's fantastic. Fight me, not you. Like the people who I went to go see it with.
I have it higher than you do.
Yeah, I thought it was great. It was a really great origin story, and it does this fantastic job of telling the story almost as if it were like a 40s like war reel. And like the cinematography is kind of like that, and it was just fun and really enjoyable. The makeup on Red Skull was fantastic. I just really liked it.
Yeah, I was going to talk more about this when we got to where it is on my list, and I think it's maybe a little too low on your list, but that's okay. I'm not going to fight you about it. I just want to say that like the best part about Captain America: The First Avenger is that it's like really the only sort of footage we get of Steve and Bucky and their like true friendship.
Yep.
And that those moments in that movie are strong enough that they launched Winter Soldier and Civil War. And just like in those movies, you just like it's justified how much Steve cares about Bucky. And if you ever question, why does Steve care about this Bucky guy? You go back and you watch the first movie and you're like, oh yeah, okay, got it.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, really strong movie.
Yep.
At this spot, I have Captain America: Civil War.
Wow. Okay.
At 14.
Okay. I don't really want to fight you on it, but you want to just talk about it for a second?
Yeah. So Civil War, for me, just didn't when we watched it together. You and I watched it together.
Yeah.
Recently, and it just never felt different. And we're at that point of movies that I like. Genuinely like, but because Civil War just to me kind of feels it's a good Avengers movie, but it's not really a Captain America movie. It should have been an Avengers. It should have been an Avengers movie.
That's fair. I guess I never really looked at it from that lens. I just kind of put it in the category of the Avengers. But I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, so that's why it's sitting here at 14. At 13 is where I have Iron Man 3.
Okay.
So not too much higher than you had it, but significantly higher because I cried at the end. And if I cry at a superhero movie, I don't know. I feel like that means something.
Sure.
What do you have at 13?
That's where I have Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange, perfect.
Yep.
That seems like I think we're pretty much aligned on that one.
And also like you've got your acting degree, I've got my film degree. We're starting to also get into the area where like the actual like technique behind it adds a lot of bonus points, and I think the cinematography and the special effects in Doctor Strange are just jaw-dropping amazing.
Right, because I think like as we get up like into the top 10, then we're starting to talk about movies that have all been called the best MCU movie at some point, and that's what like we're gonna have to distinguish down to like little nitty-gritty details.
And of course personal bias.
And always personal bias.
All right, so next up, what are we at, 12?
12, yeah, halfway through, I think.
Yep, 12, I have The Winter Soldier, Cap 2.
Winter Soldier, okay. Again, I have it higher. I think I have a little like personal connection to just like the Captain America franchise.
Yep.
As a whole, and I really love the Steve and Bucky friendship. I was one of those people who read Stucky fanfics on Tumblr.com, which is the Steve and Bucky ship. Mostly my girlfriend at the time was very into it.
Yeah, I remember.
But I was into it too. I really love just like male friendships. They're gonna get me every time.
Yep.
And so it's definitely like an emotional thing for me that Winter Soldier is a little bit higher than where it is on your list, but totally understandable. Yeah. It's probably not a technically super great movie.
Yeah. I think of the sequels, I think it's fantastic. I think it's a really great sequel. I think the only thing that I like that my issue with it is I think as a storyteller, the reveal that Hydra was within S.H.I.E.L.D. is such a great story piece. I thought it was executed only okay.
Interesting.
Yeah, that the scene where Black Widow and Cap are talking to the computer, I just wasn't a fan of that.
Yeah, again, this was a movie I saw back in high school, and so I'm not sure I remember it super well.
Yep.
So I'm mostly remembering my emotional connection to it.
Yep, totally fine. What you got?
At 12, I have Thor. And we've already talked about
Yep.
my deep emotional connection to this movie. Again, I didn't put it super high because I haven't seen it since high school.
Yep.
I just remember loving it so dearly and finally like seeing my guy on the screen. That's all. I'm just a big Thor fan.
I totally understand.
Up at 11, I have Spider-Man Far From Home.
Okay.
What do you have?
I'm not gonna fight you on that one. That's
Cool.
Like Spider-Man is where it comes into personal bias, where like kind of like for you with Thor, Spider-Man is just always going to be a little bit higher just because of how much I love Spider-Man.
Also always going to be a little bit higher for me. Spider-Man has become my favorite superhero.
Really? Okay, cool.
Yes. So maybe we both have Spider-Man biased lists.
Yeah. Next up, I've got Guardians of the Galaxy 1.
You have Guardians 2 above Guardians 1?
Yep.
I'm taking away your film degree. I'm going to come to your house.
Okay.
I'm fighting you on this one too. This is fight number 4 for Seth, for those keeping track.
The cinematography of 2 is so much better than 1.
I don't care.
That's fine, but I'm just saying that's where one of my big points for it is. The sequence where Gamora and Nebula fight. That's another character I love. Nebula. Screw you. I'm just mad about that.
Listen, I'll take another drink for that.
Okay. Gamora, the scene with Gamora and Nebula in any other movie would just be such like a generic fight scene, but it has that gorgeous wide angle shot where Gamora is sitting in the field. Shot, when I saw it in theaters, my jaw dropped. It was amazing. And then there's this big fight that's just beautiful looking. The colors, is just so good. I love that father-son relationship, kind of like where you like the Bucky two-guy relationship. Anyways, so that all to say, I like Guardians 2 more than Guardians 1. In terms of Guardians 1, I think it's a great movie. There's just a few moments where it just feels like generic action movie, where I think Guardians 2 was a better movie.
I'm gonna say maybe a lot of the Guardians 1 is very high on my list.
That's fine.
Maybe part of that is the soundtrack, but I think Guardians 1 is a very well put together movie. Like it is, and it again, trying to like take it in its time, the like emotional reaction I had to it in its time, it's doing a lot of like it. This is our moment where we're like, superhero movies can be like laugh out loud funny. Like
I don't think the first one is as funny.
You don't think Guardians 1 is funny?
That's not what I said. I don't think it's as funny.
As Guardians 2?
I laugh hysterically in Guardians 2 in so many moments, and I still laugh hysterically, which is a thing for me. It's just I still the scene where he makes the glowing ball and then I'm just talking about Guardians 2, and that's not fair. Okay, Guardians 1, again, the overall plot is just generic like crime team movie that they're working together to do something, and then in the end it becomes generic action movie where they all have to band together to fight the bad guy. And I don't feel like some of the dialogue where they're like, we're a team now, we're a family, it didn't feel earned for me.
I guess maybe I just like that kind of movie more than you do, because like that's just like a style of movie that I really enjoy. I like that sort of like band of misfits teaming up together. It's it reminds me of the Goonies.
See, that's totally fine, but I like the Goonies and Guardians 2 where the relationship is already established. And so it's more like a Star Trek episode where we're dropped in with this group of people and we already know how they interact with each other, and they're given a scenario that they have to work together to accomplish.
Yeah, I guess I would always prefer to see the beginning and the end of the story rather than the middle, which is what Guardians 2 felt like to me. It felt like a filler episode of Friends.
That's fine. I felt it was more like a better Star Trek episode. Anyways,
I don't know. It's a movie, though.
We need to keep moving.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So now we're into the top 10.
Yep.
Correct?
Yep.
Great. I have Iron Man 1 as my 10th best Marvel.
Oh, okay, that's fine. I'm not going to fight you on it.
Are you sure?
It's not something worth fighting.
I feel like you've had at least 4 different. I'm not going to fight you on this, but
okay, so let's. I've got it a lot higher, just because, and like I've got it a lot higher, just because it's like all of the Marvel Cinematic Universe movies are like for the most part just superhero movies, right? Like, and they kind of follow this plot, and they're slight deviations of each other, with the exception of Thor, Captain America, and Iron Man 1. They all did a really great job of having like their own very unique story. Anyways, Iron Man 1, rewatching it, all of the tension was still there after 23 movies. The tension was still there. The storytelling was still amazing. The acting was fantastic. I think it's one of the Marvel movies that holds up and will continue to hold up so well.
Okay, I'm going to agree with you. I think I'm going to agree with you on principle here. It's just like a difference of the way that it came across to me.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's that Tony Stark is maybe the most relatable character in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, or like the one, like just like
sexist.
One of the. Well, right. That's why he's relatable to you.
Wow.
I'm gonna take a drink for that.
Yeah. And then, yeah.
But no, he's one of the most interesting characters to watch. I love Tony Stark. The reason why Iron Man 1 is lower on this list for me is because I actually think that the Tony Stark character development that we get is higher in Avengers, Infinity War, and Endgame. And I really like to watch Tony grow when everybody else is around.
Sure.
And I appreciate that a lot more. So I'm far more interested in Tony Stark and Iron Man when he's surrounded by the rest of the Avengers.
Yeah, that's fair. I guess for me, like the origin of Tony Stark, where like he really pays for his, past actions. He pays the consequences for his past actions, is done so well. And like Ant-Man, even Ant-Man 2, like a lot of the Marvel movies follow the formula of Iron Man 1 because it was just done so well.
Yeah, no, totally. Yeah. And I agree. Like, it's in my top 10.
Yes.
Don't get me wrong. I love that movie.
That's why I don't want to fight you, because like the majority of the reason it's so high up for me is just because of the significance of the movie versus and the movie still holding up versus
and I'll throw in that it's a very significant turning point in Robert Downey Jr.'s career.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And that I think he relates a lot and owes a lot to the character of Tony Stark for his sort of turnaround personally.
Yeah.
All
right.
No, I'm sure I'll have no problem with where you rank Iron Man.
We'll see. I don't know.
At number 9, I have Captain America: The First Avenger.
Okay, cool.
Just a touch, a scotch higher than you had it. We talked about it already. Mm-hmm. That's what my number 9 is. What's your number 9?
Number 9 for me is Number 9 for me is The Avengers.
The first Avengers.
The very first Avengers, yes.
Interesting. Not your favorite. Still good, but not your favorite.
I mean, my least favorite is obviously Age of Ultron. I always think it's a fun movie, and like the big important moments where like you have the sweeping shot of seeing all the characters together. I still get that excitement of like, holy cow, this is finally happening. I still feel that, and I think it's great. Again, it's one of my favorite on this list. It's just on the lower end because I like the other movies more for other reasons.
Okay, I'm going to disagree with you. Avengers is very high on my list, like very high.
Yeah.
I'm going to save it though until it comes up on my list.
That's fine.
What's your number 8?
What's your number 9?
My number 9 was Captain America.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. My number 8 is Spider-Man 2: Far From Home.
Whoa, okay, higher up on this list than mine. I thought I was going to have the highest Spider-Man rankings.
Nope. I thought it was really fun. I thought it was great.
It is.
And specifically just we already said spoilers. The trauma
Yep.
and we talked about it in the last episode. The both Peter Parker and Happy dealing with the trauma of of Iron Man dying.
Yep.
I thought that was a story that needed to be told after. I think
Totally.
like and so I thought not only is it a fantastic Spider-Man movie, I thought it was a fantastic almost epilogue of this grand trilogy leading up to Endgame.
Totally, and I loved it in theaters. When I was comparing it against these other movies, what it came down to for me was that there's a lot of side characters in that movie that I don't like, and a lot of sort of comedic distraction that doesn't feel like it fits the tone of an epilogue to to this saga that we concluded with Endgame.
That's fine.
And there was 45 minutes of that movie that I could have done without.
Okay, that's fine.
And it's mostly the comedy parts of it, but I love what it means for Peter Parker in the wake of Tony Stark, and also Peter and MJ finally kiss in that movie.
Yeah,
great.
It's great.
It's what everybody wants.
Yeah.
What is we're at number 8?
Yep.
Okay, sorry. My number 8 is Winter Soldier, which we've already talked about already. I have those Captain America movies right in there together. They had to be in my top 10 for me just for like emotional reasons. I understand though that they're like maybe not the greatest technical achievements in the MCU.
That's okay. So number 7?
Number 7, yeah.
Number 7, I have Captain America Civil War.
Interesting. Okay, much higher than I had it.
Yep. Again, it comes down to Spider-Man and Black Panther.
Okay.
Avengers has a lot of characters. Avengers 1 has a lot of characters I really like, and so that's why that's exciting. But I always call it Avengers. Captain America Civil War introduces Black Panther and Spider-Man, 2 of my favorite characters, and so that was really huge for me on a personal level.
Yeah, again, my issue with it is that I love Captain America a lot, and I love that franchise a lot, and Civil War should have been an Avengers movie, not a Captain America movie. I feel cheated of a third Captain America movie.
That's
doesn't
fine.
count. We still need another Captain America movie,
That's
please.
fine. Yep.
6? Or no, sorry, my 7. I need to say my 7.
Yep.
My 7 is Thor Ragnarok.
Oh.
Oh no, are we gonna fight? Are we gonna fight? You've still got 2 left, Joe. You can fight me on this one.
I'll save it for later.
Ooh, all right. Then I'll save my explanation for that later.
Yep, that's fine.
Fun movie. We'll talk about it later. Number 6, I have the original Guardians of the Galaxy. Guardians 1.
Okay.
That's 6 for me. Do you have Guardians 2 here? That'd be very
funny. That'd be very funny. Number 6, I have Spider-Man 1.
Spider-Man 1. Okay. I have Spider-Man 1 higher than that, clearly.
That's fine. Yeah.
Guardians 1 is to me that's a movie that to me is still very funny. The soundtrack of that movie is literally legendary. Like, I know it's not a achievement in scoring or anything, but the way that it's a movie musical. Like, they made a superhero movie a movie musical, and they introduced the world to this, idea of these comical superheroes. They turned fucking Chris Pratt into a superhero, and we didn't question it. That's
fair.
Like an incredible achievement. And as much as you love Guardians 2, we do not get Guardians 2 without the success of Guardians 1.
That's completely fair.
That's my argument for Guardians 1.
Yep.
Guardians 1, 6th best movie in the MCU.
Yep. Spider-Man was fantastic. I thought in terms of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, it was a very good movie. In terms of the Spider-Man movies, I mean, I'll always hold a place in my heart for the Sam Raimi movies, the original trilogy. I love them. But this movie, Tom Holland is just such a good Spider-Man.
Perfect Spider-Man.
Yeah. I think perfect is a very valid word for that. He is the perfect Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Okay. So next
up,
at 5, I have Guardians of the Galaxy 2, which I think I've talked your ear off for now.
Yeah, you have. We fight big about that one. I have it at 19. You have it at 5.
Yep.
Oh boy, we might need a whole other podcast to talk about this, where we watch together or something.
That's fine. Yeah.
We've thought about it enough. At 5, I have Black Panther.
Sorry. At 5, you have Black Panther.
I have Black Panther at 5. Yeah, I had Guardians 1 at 6. I have Black Panther at 5. Which is not a knock on Black Panther. I really love it. It's just that I loved the movies above it more. Black Panther is so important. Killmonger is maybe the best villain that we've seen in the MCU. Like,
yeah,
it's so compelling, so interesting. Getting introduced to the world of Wakanda was like so important to like the franchise, and like the storyline of this like Endgame saga. Black Panther and thank goodness Marvel like took, you know, like main characters who are African and made them story relevant without being like they're relevant because they're black. You know, like characters, well-written characters, well-written script,
and also not like ignoring history. You know,
yes,
that was also really
important.
Great. So I'm kind of confused because did I say 5 already?
Yeah, you had yes.
Because
didn't you have Guardians 2 at 5?
I think you might have skipped one because at 6 I had Guardians 2.
Oh, sorry. Okay, well I have Black Panther at 5.
Okay.
What do you have at 5?
I have Black Panther at 5.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yep.
Excellent agreement.
I think we might be kind of going into similar territory. I think there's going to be like 2 major flips for us. We'll see.
Yes, I believe that's correct.
Yep. Okay.
What do you have at 4?
At 4, I have Avengers Endgame.
Endgame at 4.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, you'll see why. We'll talk about it when we get there. I have Spider-Man Homecoming at 4. Remind me where you had Homecoming?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
7 for Homecoming.
Yeah.
Homecoming, I think, was so. Again, Peter Parker has become one of my favorite characters, or my favorite character in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yep.
I guess we sort of talked about it enough. About why I love it. Again, emotional connection. Also, just like being able to see a teenager represented well on screen.
That's very true.
Seeing you know, sort of this more accurate portrayal of like what that's like. I wish we could also put Spider-Verse on this list, but it is not part of this same canon.
Maybe a mini-sode we can just do Spider-Man movies. That'd be pretty fun.
That'd be amazing. I would love that.
Amazing.
Yeah. All right. What do you have at? Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, in terms of Endgame, I kind of have to talk about the other movies higher up in order to talk about it. So yeah.
I think we should just do a quick 3, 2, 1, and then we'll talk about why things were ranked that way.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Okay, so let's do number 3.
Okay.
Number 3, I have Iron Man.
Iron Man 1.
Iron Man 1.
Number 3. Okay, that's another one we kind of disagree on.
Yeah. Okay.
My 3 is the first Avengers movie.
Okay, yeah.
That for me is the third best Avengers movie.
Yeah.
Third best MCU movie.
Yeah. I think Avengers really comes down to personal taste. Like, I'm not going to fight you on it. I totally understand where you're coming from. But you're wrong and I hate you. No, but in all seriousness, I know how important that movie was to fans of those characters and the original Avengers. Those hashtag not my heroes.
Right. Okay.
Those just aren't like the most important characters to me, and so I didn't quite feel that excitement that some other people did. It's a fantastic movie. I totally understand why you love it, and I'm so happy that it exists for you. But these other movies, I'm so happy exist for me.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Let's talk more about that after the break. Go call your wife in.
Okay.
And we'll have this discussion about the final 2 top slots.
Fantastic.
Hey, Joe, guess what?
What?
I finally fixed my mistakes.
You don't like dubstep anymore?
No, not that one. The t-shirts.
Oh, you ordered the t-shirts.
Well, not me exactly, but I got us a sponsor who will.
Oh, wow, that's awesome. Who is it?
Well, he made a little jingle to go along with his name.
Okay.
He just asks that we sing his jingle for all of our listeners. It goes like this. First is a T, that's for the t-shirts. Then there's an H, that's for his hard work. Next comes an A, that's for his awesomeness. After is an N, that's for the end of all of this. All of this. Next there's an O, can't we just get to it? Last is an S because the world has gone to shit. Put that all together, what is it spelled? The
Thanos?
Nose.
Did Thanos sponsor this?
Thanos? Well, he gave me such a good
Seth,
deal.
why would you...
He said everything would be 50% off, and he could make it happen just like that. Joe! No! No!
Well, folks, we're at the end of this. We're in the end game.
We're in the end game now.
We're down to the last two. But first, as a little lonely fanboy surprise, I want to bring in the one true fangirl, my wife, Anna Garcia Menical.
My wife.
Hello.
Clap it up, Anna.
Oh
Anna,
my
how's it
gosh.
going?
It's so good. I've got my
What are you-
wine. I'm
Nice.
ready to discuss all of this.
It's delicious box wine.
oh, the best.
Ooh,
Only
what
the
kind
best.
of box wine?
I don't remember. You know.
Great, that's the best kind of box wine.
I think, Anna, are there any of Seth's that really, really troubled you?
Oh yeah. Why was Doctor Strange so low?
I would like to point out Doctor Strange is also low on your and Joe's list, or Joe's list at least.
But it's not. I feel like yours is lower than ours.
I think ours was at about the
It was
same
pretty
place.
much the same.
Was
Whereas
it?
ours
Yeah.
is like right at the halfway point,
Oh, okay.
and his was like a little bit lower.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Doctor Strange is a good movie. The sort of middle section of that movie kind of lost me. Also, just like the way that they treat time and space together was interesting, far better than the way that Ant-Man and the Wasp treats it. For a comparison. But still, like, not the best handling of time and space that I've ever seen, and that's sort of a thing where I feel like if you don't treat it right and you don't give it, like, logical structure, like, you're gonna lose me really fast.
Mhm.
And while the, like, whole Inception wall running thing was very cool for a hot minute, it ended up, like, not making logical sense to me in the end, and so that's why it's very low. But the acting in that movie is fantastic.
Yeah.
And, like, a lot of the camera work, as somebody who's uninitiated, I thought was also very good.
Yeah. I liked the thing that the biggest thing I like about that movie is Bumblebee Cabbage Patch.
I did say to Joe, like, my biggest takeaway from that movie is, like, God, Benedict Cumberbatch is a good actor.
He's so good.
He's
so
so
good.
talented. But enough talking about him.
Enough
Okay,
talking about the old stuff.
One more thing I wanna throw in there. Yeah. I liked Thor 2 better than the first Thor. And I know that's swapped on your list.
You and Joe both hated on the first Thor. The first Thor for me is...
No, she likes all three of them a lot more than I do.
Yes,
Okay,
because we watched the whole series and we watched all these movies, and as we were watching them, I was like, okay, these movies the Thor movies in particular are fine. And then we watched Thor Ragnarok, and Thor Ragnarok, like, brought the whole Thor series together for me. And also, when we watched Thor and then we watched Avengers, I remembered how much I am in love with Loki. So after we watched all these, I've literally watched all three of the Thor movies over again. Because, one, I like Loki so much, and two, I like the story of Thor, and I like Asgard, and I like that whole thing. And so I like the Thor story and series more than Joe does. However, I still like the second one more than the first one.
Interesting. That's interesting to me. I love Thor was my favorite superhero growing up. He was, like, the first superhero that I ever, like, really got into and started reading comics for. Still some of the only comics I've ever read, if I'm being honest, were Thor comics. I love that guy. I love all of the Norse mythology and how it's, like, the whole series is, like, reasonably accurate to Norse mythology. I also love Tom Hiddleston very much. I just think the writing in Thor does not get good until Thor Ragnarok. The stories don't make a ton of sense. The first Thor is very high on my list because of, like, I talked about this already, but I saw Thor up on the big screen and I was like, wow, I get superhero movies now. Like, that's the guy I saw in the comics, and now he's Chris Hemsworth, and it's amazing.
Yep. But enough about these old movies, these lower quality movies.
Yeah.
Let's put them all aside and let's talk about our top 2 movies.
Woo!
Top 2 movies.
Top 2.
I wonder if we have the same number 2. I feel like we might.
We can't.
We don't.
I feel like we can. There's one we could.
Well, yes,
have.
we could, but we don't.
I know that we don't because I already heard you say what our second one is.
Oh, okay.
So we'll go first then. Number 2 for us is Thor Ragnarok.
Ragnarok. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Mhm.
And listen, I respect the hell out of that. I love that movie
Yep.
so much. The reason why it fell to number 7 on my list is that for my taste, the movie is a little goofy.
Okay.
For a movie that's that significant and that's trying to be that significant in the Thor story, the movie just gets a little silly.
Okay. So I will flip that with saying, you know, I could take things out of the first 2 Thor movies, but my biggest issue was I felt that they took it just a little too seriously. And so to put like this character who takes himself a little too seriously in this story where he's just torn apart, beaten up, and you know, bullied by Jeff Goldblum. Literally, I saw that movie, and when the credits rolled, I said, "Holy cow! How is that movie made?" Like,
what do you mean?
Well, just like it was so wild. It was such a weird, amazing little magical movie, and I loved it. And it still had all of the beats it needed. It still had the big fight scene, and even better, the big fight scene between 2 characters that you know and love. Thor and Hulk, and it's got some great action. It's got a really good villain, but with all of that, it's mixed in a little pot of weird neon colors and goofy comedy and Jeff Goldblum, and I love that movie so much.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm gonna agree with you there that if I had been ranking these movies as the best standalone movie, the movie that just like on its own 2 legs is the best cinematic experience, Thor Ragnarok stands like almost head and shoulders above anything else. That fight scene on the bridge,
oh my
where
gosh.
Oh my gosh.
well, what's this, where Immigrant Song is playing like
that's super cool.
One of the top 10 scenes maybe in movies ever.
It's
I don't
great.
like,
Yeah.
you know, and definitely like top 2 or 3 Marvel Cinematic Universe scenes.
Yeah.
My issue with it, the reason it falls so low is that I was not ranking movies as they stand alone. I'm ranking movies as they stand inside the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And Thor Ragnarok doesn't connect quite enough to the MCU for me to rank it higher than
What?
that.
Hold on.
No, that's not fair.
Hold on. Okay,
No.
okay. So I would just like to bring up a few things. First of all, Joe has a tendency to talk up movies that he absolutely loves. He's like, this is the most amazing movie ever.
And I'm never wrong.
And I watch it, and while I'm like, okay, yeah, that was a pretty good movie, he sometimes talks it up a little bit too much. Not even with movies, just sometimes just things in general. He's like, this is the most amazing thing ever. We need to watch this, blah, 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 blah.
I'm a fanboy. What can I say?
Yeah. And then we watch it, and because he's built it up so much for me, I'm like, all right, not as cool as you described it to be, but still pretty cool. I was in this mindset when we were coming to Thor Ragnarok, because he saw Thor Ragnarok, and he was like, best movie of the Marvel universe so far, like top number 1. And so immediately my mind went to, okay, it's probably not actually that good. So then we finally, I'm sorry, that's the truth. So then we finally watched it, and then I was like, oh, no, this is pretty great. This is actually, like, I had so much fun watching the movie, and it put Thor in a new light for me that I thought was a lot more likable, because it showed, like he said, it's serious and it's fun. And there's also some great Loki stuff in it, which I think is hilarious, and I love anything with Loki.
Thor Ragnarok is an incredible movie. I'm not trying to take that away from it. It's just not the best movie inside the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It does not mean the most to me.
So
as far as that plot line goes.
So the next thing I want to bring up is that when Joe and I were discussing these movies, he brought up an interesting argument about looking at movies within the cinematic universe and standalone, which I don't know if I want to go into yet, because then that just goes into the next movie we're going to talk about.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
So
well, let's talk about it then.
Basically, just like with you were saying like you didn't think about them as a movie. I thought about them in part as how they stood in the Marvel universe, and then in part as a movie.
Sure.
Yeah.
And
And
I don't
like,
know, maybe. Yeah.
And like, I feel like kind of like how Avengers was an introduction to a lot of people. I think you could probably show someone Ragnarok and they could enjoy it without seeing the rest of the movies, and maybe it would turn them on to Marvel movies.
Yes, and yeah, that's totally fair. I feel that way about Avengers though. Too,
right.
The first Avengers movie, where like really that was kind of the movie that like a lot of people did go watch,
right,
and then went back and watched. And I think that's kind of true of every Avengers movie, where you watch an Avengers like a big like team up movie, you watch the team up movie, and then you're like, oh, now I want to go figure out who these people are.
Yeah.
All right.
Are we ready for my number?
That all
two?
being said,
yes.
Seth, what is your number 2?
I believe it's your number 1 if I've been paying attention correctly and have done my process of elimination. My number 2 is Avengers Infinity War.
Wow. All right.
I have it at number 2 on my list. I believe you have it at number 1. Is that correct?
That is correct. We have it at number 1.
We both love this movie to death.
And so then am I to understand your number 1 is Avengers Endgame?
It's Avengers Endgame.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I believe that to be the best movie, definitively, inarguably, indisputably, the best movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
I want to weigh in on this really quick.
Okay.
Yeah, go for it.
So when we were making this list, I'm happy with where this list is. I'm not going to try to fight Joe on this anymore, because ultimately when Joe and I fight about movies, he usually wins because he is a film snob.
Sure.
So, but anyway, when we were originally making this list, I had Endgame at the top.
Okay.
I originally put Endgame at the top just because I was like, it is an amazing way to wrap up all of these movies. You get all of the emotions, you get all of the feels, everything. Yeah. And his argument was that you couldn't watch it as a standalone movie. Which, true. If you watch it as a standalone movie and you don't know anything about the universe, like the whole world, it is very confusing, but it is the end of a series. Like, you have to watch, like, just like with any movie series, like the Harry Potter or the Lord of the Rings trilogy or anything, the last movie, like, isn't gonna make sense without everything leading up to it.
Right. You're not gonna watch this movie on accident because your friends were like, "Wow, we love Avengers Endgame," and you're like, "I don't know what that is. I'll give it a try."
Right.
Yep.
The reason it is my number 1 movie is exactly is related to the thing that Anna just talked about, which is that you take every major movie franchise that we've had in the last 20 years. Think about how difficult it is to wrap up a movie franchise.
Yep.
Like, Lord of the Rings is based off books. Harry Potter, based off books.
Mm-hmm.
Avengers is based off comics, but this storyline is, I believe, like at least somewhat an original work.
Is it? Is that true?
What? Oh, wait. Sorry, say that again?
This whole plot line is like, at least some parts of it are like original works.
Yes and no. I mean, Iron Man did use the gauntlet to defeat Thanos in the comics. It wasn't to this scale. I mean, it was to save the galaxy, but we didn't really see the galaxy. It was a much more contained story.
Cool.
I haven't actually read that story, but I know that it exists. How Endgame goes about getting to there is unique, but
okay, cool. And that's kind of my point, is that wrapping up a series in a fulfilling way for all of the characters involved is basically an impossible feat, but it's one that I believe Endgame achieves.
I agree. And that's why I originally put it at the top for me.
Yeah.
And that, yeah, just like for being a lifelong fanboy of so many things, seeing a series that had a satisfying, deeply satisfying, emotionally satisfying conclusion made my heart so happy. And also, like, I was able to appreciate that it's incredible that they were able to put the pieces together in that way.
Yep.
You take your favorite superhero in the MCU, like, take them and look at their story at the end of Endgame, and I think you're probably happy with it. Obviously, we have many characters whose stories are not done.
Yep.
Their stories will continue, but also at the end of Endgame, you know that for the characters who will continue, you know you're going to get more of them, and that's satisfying to you. And for our going back to my number 3 movie, which was the original Avengers, this is like a perfect ending point for where we started with that first Avengers movie, as all these disparate people team up and become friends, and now they've gone on this 12-year journey, 10 years since Avengers, this 10-year journey together, and now we have an ending. And that ending was so satisfying and meant so much to me and was so beautiful to watch. I don't think I could have picked any other movie but Endgame. The Marvel movies are great. If you haven't, you should watch them all.
Yes.
Even Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Well,
don't watch Incredible Hulk.
I think it's important to watch Ant-Man and the Wasp, just so you can experience how not good it is.
You can just sit there and play Animal Crossing while you watch it. That's what I did.
That's what I
It's
did.
a great time.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Or draw, because I don't.
Yeah,
we only have one
great.
Switch in the house, so.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
Well, we've gone through the lists. I still love you. I don't want to murder you.
I love you too. I don't want to murder you
Oh,
either.
good. I hope you would love me, Joseph.
Yes.
I think we're all at least slightly drunk.
A little bit, yep.
I'm not, but that's okay.
We're getting there. I think that'll do it for us this week. Thank you so much for listening. If you have thoughts, and we do want to hear your thoughts, you can email us at thelonelyfanboys@gmail.com. You can follow us at TLF_pod. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Lonely Fanboys, on youtube.com, and ring the bell to be notified when new episodes are posted. Thank you once more to Alight the Night for our theme song, Consequences. Joe, what's our original work this week?
And now, an original work by Seth Campbell, Joseph Menical, and introducing Anna Menical.
Hey there.
Nick Fury, Agent Coulson, and Agent Hill talking at the water cooler.
Hi, I'm Agent Coulson.
Hey, Coulson, have you those crazy Avengers, am I right?
Yes, I am Agent Coulson, for sure.
I totally believe that you're Agent Coulson. Agent Coulson.
Thank you, because I am Agent Coulson. My first
Agent
name
Coulson?
is Phil.
Agent Coulson, what do you call me?
You are Sir Nicholas Fury of the Fourth Realm of the FBI.
You see, I just call you Nick. There are several cases in each movie where I just call you Nick, but we never talk about that.
We're gonna pretend this one specific situation where you only call me Fury.
You mean the situation where I'm not born yet, or even in the movie?
Coulson was a Skrull the whole time.
Oh
but
my
but the
God.
comic Skrull where you're actually a bad guy is not the misunderstood Marvel Cinematic Universe Skrull. It's the Skrull.
What?
No, it's not the Skrull. It's me, Agent Phil. Oh, you got
It's
me.
the genie.
I'm a Skrull. I'm the genie. The genie's been a Skrull the whole time. And the whole time, I'm the genie. Put on some pants, everybody. Put on some pants. I'm the
I'm
genie.
Nick Fury, and I never put on pants at work.
Whoa.
Nick Fury, get you into some denim. Go shopping at Old Navy. I've got you some coupons.
Hill, take out the genie.
Pew, 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 pew,
Oh,
pew.
my heart. You've shot me with...
We've killed the
Pew.
genie,
Affordable
Hill. We've
fabric.
killed the genie, and now the genie will never appear in another episode of The Lonely Fanboys.
Nick, before we go, I have one thing to tell you.
What? Oh no, you're the genie too! There's two genies!
And cut. Thank you so much for listening, everybody.
That's gonna do it for us today. Have a wonderful evening. Good night, everybody.
Thanks for having me on the show.